Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jill Bloom, publisher of Walls and Ceilings, and thank you so much for joining us today. I am joined with one of your hosts, Associate Editor Hannah Belloli, as we interview yet another industry influencer. On this episode of If Walls Could Talk, Hannah and I are talking with Joe Koenig, the CEO of Trim-Tex. And we are talking with Joe today about the industry, where he started, where he's at today. I mean, there is so much to learn from Joe about his journey through this incredible industry. So please keep listening to hear what those walls would say if walls could talk. So Joe, first, I want to say we are so honored to have you and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, and really looking forward to our chat today.
Well, we're going to have a lot of fun, that's for sure. But I want to start from the very beginning. So, Joe, tell us about your family and where you grew up.
Well, I grew up in Illinois, a couple of different towns, Palatine, Illinois. I currently live in Glenview. My father started Trim-Tex, and it was in the city of Chicago. And he lived along the lake on Marine Drive. And the shop was a few miles west of there. Small little place with one extrusion line. And, so we've always been in the Chicago area. Started out two different locations in Chicago, and then about 32 years ago, we moved to Lincolnwood, Illinois, which is the very first north suburb of Chicago. So we're just a stone's throw from the border.
Oh, nice. So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I am one of four, two girls and two boys.
Okay. And how old were you when your dad started Trim-Tex?
Well, I was 10 years old.
Wow. So this is all you've known.
It is, yeah.
And how did your dad start Trim-Tex? Like, what's that story?
Well, do we have a 4-hour show here?
Yes.
So, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. My father, in 1962, started making vinyl siding in Chicago. So he was actually the first producer and seller of vinyl siding in the world.
Wow.
And he had a factory on the west side of Chicago called Vinyl-Tex. And Vinyl-Tex, he had 10 extrusion lines, and he was making siding. And his distribution channel was really more the door-to-door salesperson for the siding industry. And if you ever watched the movie Danny DeVito, Tin Men, you'll get an idea of what my dad was dealing with. So the movie's about two competing aluminum siding salesmen that are, trying to get the work order from the homeowners. So, but anyways, Joe Sr. had the siding business in '68. He was asked to make the vinyl J-bead for the drywall industry. And it was two different, I guess they were friends, two different dealers. One was in Indianapolis and one was in Gary, Indiana, gypsum supply dealers. They asked him to make a J-bead in early '68, and he did. My dad ended up going bankrupt in 1969 from the siding business. Three problems. One was the Martin Luther King riots of '68. He was in the area where they were rioting, and they burned down a substantial portion of the building.
Wow.
And also the Buyer's Remorse Act was initiated, and I think in late '68, and that was where somebody can get out of a contract. So the siding sales people were always overcharging, basically, for their product to be installed on a house. And the Buyer's Remorse Act gave them 3 days to get out of a contract. So then another family member would come home and say, "You did what? You signed up for vinyl siding on a building for X amount of dollars." But anyways, that kind of cut into the money flow for the salespeople, and they didn't pay their bills as well. And then the third problem was the truck strike of '69. That put Vinyl-Tex was shut down by the bank, and my father, he knew what his next venture was going to be, and that was to create Trim-Tex and go into the drywall industry with rigid vinyl trims and accessories.
Wow, that's an incredible story. So now, did you go to college? Did your dad go to college? What's the education look like?
No, Dad was an immigrant from Yugoslavia, and just always had an entrepreneurial mindset. And believe it or not, Trim-Tex was his third go at it, and the third time was the charm. So he was in the awning business in the late '50s when I was born in '59. He was in the awning business up until '62, the siding business with Vinyl-Tex, and then Trim-Tex in '69. So 52 years later, third time was the charm. So myself, I did not go to college. I've taken some courses here and there, but pretty much have a doctorate at Trim-Tex. So after doing it my whole life, so definitely helped Dad out when I was in my early teens. I remember doing cutting samples and packing, doing mailings with brochures and samples, and packing up 1,000 boxes and shipping them out, and getting leads back. So I believe when he joined the AWCI and got the mailing lists, we sent out 900 plus mailers, and I believe got 36 leads back from that. And he already had a dozen customers at the time. And that's kind of where it all started. Just hard work, and
I love it.
Letting people know what you have, making widgets, I guess, right? And,
Absolutely. Well, I love to hear that. You know what? Because like we all say today, you don't have to go to college to have a great career.
Mm-mm.
Yes, I agree. I do encourage it, certainly for most, things, jobs that you need out there, most of them, do require some sort of degree. Manufacturing really doesn't. I mean, what we want in manufacturing is we want passion, hard work, someone who's smart, and we can usually take someone who has a lot of those qualities and, just get them involved. And, here they are today. We have, we're 160 strong on employees right now. And our average tenure is going on almost 19 years. So, when you look at our Trim-Tex family, we do have people with degrees, but a lot of people in the plant pretty much, came right out of high school and needed to get a job and started working, and they're still out there. So.
Joe, are you having, because this is obviously a huge topic in our industry right now, is the labor shortage. And I know you just said that you used to have people coming to you straight out of college saying, hey, give me something to do with these hands. I got to work. I need a job. Are you having a significantly less amount of people coming to you right out of college, or are you guys doing okay with that?
Well, we are seeing a labor shortage on the operations side in the manufacturing plant. A lot of people don't really understand extrusion. The extrusion process is continuous flow. When we start up a plastic extruder Monday morning, our objective is to shut that extruder down sometime on Saturday or Sunday, and it runs 24 hours a day. There's no pause button. If you need to go get a cup of coffee, that machine just keeps spitting parts out, unlike an injection molding machine where you could hit a pause button and go do something else for a minute or two and come back. So it's continuous flow. We run 3 shifts for 52 years. So, believe it or not, the hardest shift to fill is second shift. Mostly because family requirements. Third shift seems to work a little bit better for families that have, the mom or dad working third shift, and then the spouse working the day shift while the kids are in school. So we are challenged with finding quality people for the production area, especially when you're growing. We have very little turnover, so it's really just about growth and filling needs and starting more extruders. But yes, I would agree that it's a little bit tough out there. A lot of people want a lot of education. So instead of 2-year associates, come into the manufacturing world with an associate's or even no degree. We will help you get a degree while you work at Trim-Tex. So a lot of people don't understand is there's 2 paths. You can get out of high school, go into manufacturing and work, have 0 debt and still get your degrees. And you can go off to college for 4, 5, 6 years, possibly go into severe debt and get your degrees and then go back into the workforce. The first path is going to have 4 or 5 years of work experience already. And the long-term, education path, you're going to start fresh again 5 years later. You'll have debt and now you're the new kid on the block at work. So they're both good. And I'm not trying to sway anybody one way or the other, but the route that I took worked out pretty darn good. So, and for many teammates, work family at Trim-Tex, it's also worked out that way itself. And then, like I say, they still get their degrees. We have people that have been there over 20, 25, even 30 years that are still in learning mode right now. They're still going off and taking courses, and we encourage that at Trim-Tex. So,
right. Yeah, definitely. So does Trim-Tex have, I know that you said that you help people obtain their degrees if that's the path that they want. But does Trim-Tex have any apprenticeships, or how are you finding these young people to work for you?
Back in the day, it was just word of mouth. We would just tell our current workforce and say, hey, we're going to have 1 or 2 or 3 openings. And the next day we'd have 6, 7, 8 people applying for a job.
Yeah.
So it's a little different right now.
Yeah.
So it's a little similar, but we'll place ads. If we're looking for someone on the staff, we'll put feelers out. Yeah, we never really had to ever use a headhunter or anything like that at Trim-Tex. It was just literally, let it be known that we have a job, and people would come. Like I say, it's a little bit tougher right now. I think Amazon really kind of put a binder onto everyone's workforce, everyone that's not Amazon, because they were paying, they were claiming to pay more money than anyone else was paying. Make $15 an hour at Amazon. And we actually had one person from our shipping department leave, and he came back after a year. He's like, "Oh no, this is way better." I might make 25 cents an hour less, but the benefit package is, substantially better, and the atmosphere is better, so on and so forth. So yeah, I think that did hurt a little bit. Also, as 3-5 years ago, everybody that you knew somebody that became an Uber driver. So oh, I'm just going to be an Uber driver. I can make my own hours. I can raise my kids. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to argue with that. That's actually not it's not a bad option. Didn't work out well during COVID, but when not one person, called an Uber for,
right.
Yeah, it was a tough go on them.
Yeah. And so you, correct me if I'm wrong on this year, but you started taking over the company for your father in 1989, correct? Or was it?
Yes, I became president. No, 89 is when I came back to the company, correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then when you did become president, was that a hard transition, or did you feel like you were very prepared for it? I'm sure it's a lot different going from your role to president of a company. I can only imagine.
I wasn't prepared because I didn't have any formal training. I just knew that I just had to do the best I could. We were a much smaller company back then, and I did 15 different jobs, from purchasing the PVC to and today I still do it, but product innovation, tooling, those were I'm a very mechanical person, so that that engineering mindset on the operations side, that's where I really thrived. Had nothing, no experience in marketing and sales, HR, dealing with insurance companies, patent lawyers. It all just happened, and then you learned as you went. My father, when I came back in '89, my father had probably 100 great ideas up to that point, and he never had a patent.
Wow.
And I changed that when I came into the company. When we had a good idea, we went out and we found a great patent attorney, Alan Hoover, and bless him, he's no longer with us, but Alan was amazing. And today we're 35 plus patents. We have several that have actually run out, from the time when they were first applied for. So
yeah.
Do you have any, quick question though, Joe, do you have any other family that's involved in Trim-Tex? Any of your siblings?
Yeah, I do. I have 2 sisters involved in the company. I'm the 3rd child, so I haven't. The oldest is my sister Evelyn, and the youngest sister is Linda, and she's the youngest in the family. My brother, 13 months older than I, he did pass away 2 years ago, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He had a stroke 20 years ago, and it was just a long, hard battle for him. So, but he was also in the plastic business. So the family, an extrusion. So, and that company is still operating today and doing very well. So we are deeply into rigid vinyl and other plastics extrusion. So.
Yeah. Any of your children work for Trim-Tex, or did they all choose different paths?
I have 3 daughters, so they have all worked at Trim-Tex, going through high school and summers, coming back from college in summer. And then my youngest daughter, she does work for, she's on maternity leave right now, but my youngest daughter, Katie, is part of the team, and she has marketing and business degrees from college. And she was working with the marketing team for a year and a half, and she wrote the business model and helped us develop our inside sales team that we have recently built. So that's kind of her cup of tea right now, is inside sales. It's getting harder and harder to visit all the gypsum supply dealers. We've got vans on the road and people out there on the road, but our real customer is the drywall contractor. And we're trying to we've shifted our focus. We've refocused our sales efforts to do more technical touches with contractors, and build those relationships with our dealers, with our gypsum supply dealers, but maybe not see them quite as often. We're going to give them a phone call once a month, or so on and so forth. So it's just kind of a shift, just like you with the marketing. You've changed from print to electronic, and we just have to evolve as we go along.
Yeah. And did that shift in focus come before COVID, like just in time, or were there a lot of things that you needed to alter after COVID?
That is actually a fantastic question. We were already locked and loaded and committed, and partially we were partially there, and then COVID really changed things. Like, okay, well, we had 15 salespeople that were stuck at home. So, we're like, all right, we got to get our program going here, and people are going to have to do a better job being on the phone, less windshield time, in the van, and more time on the phone. And, most dealers didn't want to see, we were informed by pretty much all the dealers, don't come, don't visit.
Wow.
And, we did the same thing.
Yeah.
We did the same thing. Our money makers, the extrusion plant is like, nope, no visitors. Nope. We split everything in two. We doubled every department was split into A and B, and they had separate, we created a lot of lunch rooms and separate, break areas, so that the different doors, they came in different doors of the building. And, we really did a good job on our end to do that. So, yeah, so the dealers didn't want to see our salespeople, and I don't blame them. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So did COVID affect your manufacturing at all? Or what about supply chain shortages? Is that something that Trim-Tex is dealing with as well? I know it's a hot topic right now in the industry, but I'm not sure if it maybe missed you guys, hopefully, or if it's something that you're also struggling with.
Yeah, you got great questions. So COVID did affect us. We had couple dozen during the year. We had a couple dozen different people that had family members that were ill. We had workers that did get COVID. We lost one of our family members, 27-year veteran. We lost. Yeah, so it hit home. It hit hard. That one was rough.
Yeah.
And he was part of our product development team, which I am infinitely and solely focused on is for me is product development. And your second question, I'm sorry, my brain.
No problem. I'm the same way. Supply chain shortages. Is that something that's affecting you?
Can I just leave the room and scream really loud?
Yeah. I think that would answer the question perfectly.
It's horrible. It's
Yeah.
horrible. I can't even believe what's going on. Our spray adhesive manufacturer decided that they were going to have steel cans made in China, and then they ship them from China to Japan to be printed, and then they come here to the US. So the crazy route is the steel comes from like Pennsylvania, gets on a boat, goes to China, then it's got to go to Japan, and then it's got to get on another boat, 3 boats, mind you, and come back here to be welded and filled. And, just to save 5 cents or whatever it is, it's crazy. So guess what? We don't have spray adhesive. We haven't had spray adhesive for like a month.
Wow.
Absolutely out. Never, unprecedented. Never happened before.
Wow.
Were you affected by the storm in Texas? Wasn't there a plastics, something that?
Yes, definitely. Plastics are seeing a 30 to 50% price increase. Lumber we make a product from plywood called the butt board, which bends the drywall for the butt joint. I've been doing it for a long time, and the plywood is normally 27 cents a board foot. It's $1.47 right now a board foot. So that's 5 times higher.
Wow.
5 times. It's a massive. It's almost, it's almost to the point where we just can't work with it anymore. It's like, all right, we got to stop.
Right.
We'll scream with you. We'll scream with you, Joe. We'll scream with you. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Now 52 years in business, 51 of those years, we've never been out of stock on anything. Our business model that Dad started was everything in that catalog, 100% in stock, ships the same day. We have a massive warehouses here in Lincolnwood and also in Orange, California. 2 in Canada, 4 in Australia, all over the world. We've got partners that warehouse our products, and we had a 51-year run with always in stock, And we never say no to, oh, well, we don't have that right. Doesn't feel good.
No, not at all.
And I think that what makes me crazy is like drywall compound. There's only like 2 or 3 ingredients in there. It's like, how do you, why is there a shortage? How do you run out of they're plentiful, bountiful ingredients?
Right.
Is it logistics? Is it greed? You don't know that. I mean, I can guarantee you this, Trim-Tex, there's nothing that we do involved with greed. We're going to just tag on a price increase. Those are just things that you have to do. We've had 6 price increases in our 52 years. So it's not something that we do often. And it's not something we're proud of. But there's times when you just have to make an adjustment. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think, in our industry, there's some products that have seen 3, 4, 5 price increases already this year.
Wow.
And it's sad.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, especially for generations who have been in the industry for so long. Like the younger generation is like, oh, this is kind of all we've ever known. Or even me coming to Walls and Ceilings magazine and immediately turning digital, I'm like, okay, I kind of prepared myself for that because I was in journalism in this day and age. But I can't imagine being in industry for so long and then one day you wake up and everything has changed. It's completely different. The way you have to conduct your business, how you have to get your products. I mean, it's craziness. It's like never before.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's unprecedented. I mean, the way you're protecting your moneymaker,
Mm-hmm.
walking in the office, our offices were like a ghost town. I mean, everyone was working from home, trying to figure out how to get a Zoom meeting going and, working with all the different Zoom medias, Microsoft and, Apple and this one and that one, I still struggle with it.
Yeah.
Jill was helping me get this set up today. I mean, I had my computer, malfunction right as I was getting ready to go, and it wanted to reboot and all that. So we're on an Apple device right now, but it is unprecedented. Everything kind of hit all of us in our industry at the same time, and I can only imagine what the steel people are going through because not all of the steel is made here. So they're waiting for coils. You can't make a stud if you don't have a coil.
Right.
Or if the trucks aren't running, you can't move your product. It's unbelievable. And try not to get sick or die in the process. Right.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Man, it sure is a learning curve.
It is.
But we'll switch the mood a little bit here and talk about something a little bit more exciting. So, Joe, I know that Trim-Tex has had a long-standing tradition of motorsports excellence dating back to 1999. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Trim-Tex racing, how that tradition started, and also how Spider-Man plays into the whole thing?
Oh, thank you for asking. Spider-Man, Larry Spider-Man McBride is a good friend of mine, and he's the world's fastest motorcyclist. 266 miles an hour in 5.5 seconds. So he is amazing.
Wow.
Drag racing. In a city block, he's already going over 218 miles an hour from a standing start. My dad started it all. He used to take us to car races. I've actually seen a NASCAR race when I was a kid at Soldiers Field, where the Chicago Bears play. Back in the day, that stadium was twice the size, and they actually had a racetrack inside of it. But yeah, Dad bought a Honda Mini Trail 50 when I was like 4.5 years old, and my brother and we rode the wheels off that thing. And I have been a motorcycle nut the rest of my life. So I went from riding the dirt bikes and then transitioned into street bikes and then drag racing. So there was years when I was drag racing, I would take a year off, maybe do one race, and then the next year I'd try to run the circuit, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 races, and then I'd take a year off again because it's hard to balance family, having kids, a business, and a racing passion,
Right.
all at the same time. But I did that. I tried to do it the best I could, where it didn't interfere with one, didn't interfere with the other. My kids all grew up with dad, drag racing. 2002 racing pro stock motorcycle. I was fortunate, me and my team, we were fortunate enough to May 3rd in Richmond, Virginia, we lowered the world record to 7:02 at 193 miles an hour. So we went a $193 in basically 7 seconds. And that's when I earned the nickname 7-0 Joe. So when I came back to the trailer after that run, there was a big sign on the side of my trailer that said, way to go, 7-0 Joe. So I was retiring that year, and we had a plan. I teamed up with Gino Scali. He was from Palatine, Illinois, and we teamed up and put him on my race team, on my race bike, and we won in 2003. We won the world championship. We were the NHRA Powerade Pro Stock Motorcycle champions. So it was in the first year together. So it was really pretty amazing. Gino and I were together for 3 years. And then we split up. We're still friends today. We're good friends, but our agreement was a 3-year deal. And then I did sponsor, I was not riding the bikes. I did sponsor Rob Muzzy's team in an NHRA Pro Stock bike. In 2006, my daughter wanted to go to a racing school, Skip Barber Racing School. And so she actually had a summer, she had a project from school where they had everyone in the school had a week to go do an intern, program on a job. And some people would go, work with a dentist for a week or, whatever their passion was. Lauren and I went out to California and she interviewed, the champion. It was the last race of the year. She interviewed the champions that were drag racing. So Erica Enders was one of the champions, and she was in the movie. It was a Disney movie about the two sisters that were racing the little drag cars. But anyway, so she interviewed Erica Enders and a few other, and Gino and a few other racers. And then the last part of the week, we went up to Skip Barber Racing School, Laguna Seca. And that's where I got the huge bug bit me for sports car racing. I was like 3 hours in a car in one day. I was like, my God, drag racing. I drag raced a whole season and I had an hour of seat time in a whole season. And you're talking about thousands of miles driven and all that, because you're only taking 7-second bites. So in the race car, you're out there for 20 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes. So I started sports car racing on and off, back in 2006. So, and, in fact, I'm racing in mid-Ohio next weekend. This week, actually, I'll be on track in mid-Ohio on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there's a big doubleheader weekend. Hoosier Tire Super Tour is their SCCA. So. Okay. So, I mean, I've kind of done everything in between. We sponsored some teams, and it's just been a good run. Everyone at the shop enjoys it, and we've brought a lot of customers to races. We're not really doing anything right now in racing with Trim-Tex, other than we do help out Josh Balicki, who is a NASCAR racer. He's a young kid out of Wisconsin, and his dad was the president of Marriott Drywall Supply. So he's actually one of our customers, kids that I've known since he was like 14 years old. So we still help him a little bit, and also Larry Spider-Man McBride a little bit. So
you're racing
a little bit.
So if you're racing next weekend, is that what you said?
I am. I'm racing a BMW sports car in a T2 class in Mid-Ohio. Yeah. And this week, actually, today's Monday, I'm driving there on Wednesday, and we're on track on Thursday.
So what color is the car, and what number is it? Do you have a number on the car?
Well, my number is always 70, like 70 Joe.
Okay.
So the car is the 70 car. And it's a blue and black BMW. It says "Hoosier Tire" on the side. So I don't have a picture of it in here. So, but and we'll be back in Road America June 5th and 6th. We're racing for the June sprints also in Wisconsin. So
That's awesome.
yeah, a lot of fun.
Scary, but fun.
Yeah, well, I just say it's amazing, and I'm excited to see that you're still alive after that kind of racing on motorcycles going that fast.
Yeah, thank you. It's all calculated.
Okay.
We wear
Any crashes? Any scary crashes?
a couple, but we always wear the ultimate in protective gear, helmets and all that. Nothing in drag bike racing. I ride a dirt bike pretty much all the time on the weekends. We do some trail riding, and certainly in Michigan, I have a 35-year history of dirt biking and snowmobiling in Michigan, and we can talk about that a little bit. But I broke a couple collarbones. That's it, falling down.
Just a
Hey,
couple
watch this.
collarbones.
The worst thing to say when you're on a motorcycle or whatever is, yeah, watch this.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit that jump in fifth gear this time. So I don't do that anymore, not at the age of 62. But,
Well, you're a young 62. They say it's not how old you are, it's how you feel, right?
Correct. But no, actually, no one incident at Road America in 2011 wasn't my fault in a car. And that's about it. No, everything else is just go out there and have fun and be smart about it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you brought up Michigan. Tell us about Michigan. What are your ties to Michigan, and where did you go?
Well, for us, Michigan, my dad found 10 acres up in Gaylord, Michigan, which is about 75 miles south of Mackinac Bridge. So it's in the upper portion up here of Michigan. Everyone does the hand thing when they talk about Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
We went there as kids, and we built a house. I helped with our own hands. We built a garage, we built a house, little cabin, and we'd go up there and ride dirt bikes. It was a beautiful place to ride dirt bikes, a lot of sand. If you got to learn how to ride in sand up there. And then it's also part of the snow belt.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd get 150 inches of snow in the wintertime. So beautiful snowmobiling. Yeah. It's kind of hard to snowmobile in Ohio or Indiana because you might get one snowfall a year. But up in the upper part of Michigan, it snows a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So as we're finishing up here, Joe, I just have one more question for you, and then anything else Joe wants to add.
Sure.
How's the rest of the year looking for Trim-Tex? You guys doing well? You think everything's going to be okay, going back to normal for the most part?
Yes, another great question. Yeah, I see. Other than supply chain, things are going very well. We are, as a company, we're closing in on 75% vaccinated. So we're way ahead of the curve on that. That's keeping us focused. We're able to have meetings without masks on and all that. So that it feels good, feels normal again.
Oh, yeah.
Sales are decent this year after being off last year, and product development is, we never stop doing that, and that's going along extremely well. Things are good other than supply chain and just prices, unknowing where the prices are going to end up. How much can you absorb, how much, what do we do type of thing. I'm sure everyone in any business right now is having meetings about, oh gosh, what are we going to do? But no, things are good. We're working on some fabulous new products that we're going to be releasing, maybe some sneak peeks at the show this fall. We're going to have a trade show again, so that's a little bit back to normal again. We're working hard, and like I said multiple times in this discussion, is a big part of what I do now. I'm a CEO, Chief Entertainment Officer. I give tours.
Love that title.
Yeah, I got a golf cart, I put on a little hat and I give tours at Trim-Tex.
Oh.
But really what I do mostly now, we've got a wonderful president and a fantastic team of veteran teammates that really do a great job, and they take the pressure off me. I don't have much stress anymore, and I'm able to really just focus on product development and operations. And I help out with facilities too a little bit. We're all under one roof basically in
Mhm.
Lincolnwood. We have 240,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
So there's a lot to take care of, whether it's roofs or walls or parking lots
Mhm.
and all of that stuff. But no, the product development really keeps me going.
Good.
And it keeps, that's our legacy really is, being a company that's innovative.
Mhm.
And it's easy to continue that because innovation is fun. It really is. It's a ton of fun to be working on what you feel is a new solution for your industry.
Mhm.
It's very, very engaging and also very rewarding.
Mhm. Definitely. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing great.
Yes, we are. We're doing A-OK.
It's great to hear.
Well, speaking of trade shows, Joe, I mean, I'll never forget when I came to my first Walls and Ceilings show, and all I saw was this guy with a baseball bat. Like, I think that was you whacking away. And so I just have to ask, how did you come to the decision that this is what you needed to do to get everybody's attention?
That's a good question. Not to toot our horn, but with the rigid vinyl, is an amazing construction product. It's an amazing plastic. It's Class A fire rated. It doesn't burn. Chemicals don't affect it. It's super duper high impact, and
Fly me to the moon. Sorry.
love it.
Turn the phone off.
Yeah, it's super high impact. And when Joe Senior went into the siding business, rigid vinyl, they were just developing it. I mean, he was cutting edge, and it's been in the family blood, since 1962. I was basically 3 years old at the time.
Wow.
And we're just fortunate that since it is so durable, that it makes an amazing corner bead. Now you have to profile it right and structure it right and put the right engineering into it. But it'll take a hit and bounce back, where a metal corner bead, which is certainly the standard of the industry for 100 years.
Mhm.
Metal corner beads are they're fine and dandy, but you hit them and they dent. You knock them too hard, you got to cut them off the wall and replace them. So that was just one of our advantages that we could showcase. And it wasn't a baseball bat. Now it was a
Was
pipe.
it? Okay, what was it?
It was a metal pipe.
Okay.
Um,
It resembles something.
Yeah.
Like that.
and actually the metal pipe, the cool part of what we were showing is, look, this metal pipe, you hit it as hard as you can to the corner bead, the pipe dents and not the corner bead.
Mhm.
So
Oh, too funny.
yeah, so I mean,
Well-
we were just flexing our muscles and showing off our strength. You can't blame us for doing that.
Not at all. Well, I'm telling you, anybody that had young kids or knows anybody that has especially young boys, we're like, oh man, anytime I'm replacing some drywall, that is what's going to be on every single corner bead. That little boy is going to destroy the house.
Yeah, they do. They can get pretty well. Girls too. They get pretty wild on the walls, so banging their little cars and everything else. So, yeah, anybody that has raised children and had metal corner beads, standard metal corner beads in their house, they pretty much know what a big crack looks like and a lot of dents. So
Oh yeah.
we definitely help fix that and make things better. And we're real proud of who we are and what we do. We just a lot of solutions. And like I say, just developing more products continuously, listening to people, listening to
Mhm.
your customers. What are you struggling with? And
Right.
then, what can we do to help you? We have abrasive products. We have a sanding block with a radius edge on there, and that really derived from me and one of our technical salesperson out in the field, out on a job site, and just talking to a guy was sanding the walls. And they're like, what can we do to help you? He's like, well, the first thing you could do is, get rid of this sharp edge on the backside here. It's gouging my wall while I'm trying to sand it. I'm like, okay, well, what if I solve your problem? Would you be interested in trying some product? He's like, yes. So we went out and we solved his problem. And here we are today.
Wow.
We sell lots of abrasives that people enjoy because they have a patented feature that, that was really developed for them, not just, something that could be used on wood and metal or whatever else. This is drywall specifically designed for the drywall industry. So, and that's what we try to do. We want to have our finger on the pulse and our ear to the industry, build those relationships. And, we're a small family-owned company, so we can react quickly to ideas. Large corporations do not react quickly. They have to talk about it for a year. They have to have meetings. They have to, their system is a lot slower. They have to do studies, on the ROI, is the return on investment good and all that. By the time they have one ROI meeting, we already got a product.
Right.
So, that's the advantage of being small and nimble. And that's a big part of who we are. We're just a family-owned company in a sea of large ones that continues to be successful.
I love it. So Joe, are your parents still alive today?
Yes, yeah. Dad lives in Fort Myers, Florida. He just moved out of Illinois last year. He was still riding his motorcycle up until a couple of weeks ago. I think he finally retired at 86.
Oh my gosh.
He put 7,000 miles a year on his motorcycle up until 86 years old. Yeah, mom's she's still here. She's in Palatine, Illinois, and life is good.
Oh, that's awesome. And so what is your dad, what do you think is something that your dad is the most proud of?
Well, I know he's a family man, so I know he's most proud of his kids and his grandkids and his great grandkids. But in the business sense, he was just an innovator. I think he's most proud that he was one hell of a salesperson. He was born a salesman, and he could sell ice to Eskimos, is what he would tell you. So I think he's most proud of himself for that, but I'm most proud of him for his perseverance, his innovations. He taught me how to share, how to treat your employees right. He taught me how to take care of your customers, always treat them, with the ultimate of respect and, admiration. So yeah, our business role, our business philosophy, our business, the important things in our business all really kind of stem from Joe Sr. I've tweaked them and modified them, and we've improved many things as a team. But it's that legacy, it's that beginning that we really haven't derived from all that much. We're evolving, of course, but those that business philosophy from 52 years ago, it's pretty much ingrained in, and we talk about it on a weekly basis. How can we maintain this? Don't screw it up, just like you guys do. Yeah, we're going digital. Don't
absolutely dive into the deep end.
Hire some young, smart people. And I gotta tell you, it's been a pleasure working with both of you. And Jill and I, we've known each other a long time. We are bringing in. It's always been a philosophy of mine is to surround yourself with smarter people than you are, and give them encouragement. Give them the education on the industry and the business, and kind of turn them loose. Let them, let them flourish. My daughters, same thing with kids. So I really kind of feel that there's an old joke that I always have. It's like, yeah, how many kids you have? Well, I have 3 at home and 160 at work. And I don't mean that in a demeaning sort of way. I mean that because I care about them. They're like it's my family. They're my kids. I want them I tell them every time, every week, hey guys, it's your livelihood, do a great job,
Right.
young people of today, be passionate,
Yes.
work hard, please work hard, be ethical.
Mm-hmm.
Those are three, huge keys to success.
Mm-hmm.
Dedication, ethics, hard work, and passion.
Yeah.
I don't
I
care
love
what
it.
you do. I don't care what you do. If you
Mhm.
throw that out there, and don't waste your money on lunch. Brown bag it every day. You'll save like
Mhm.
$8.
Yep, it's true.
You
That's
want
great.
to drive a Corvette when you're 32 years old? Yeah, don't smoke and drink and
Mhm.
brown bag your lunch every day, and you
Yeah,
can have a new Corvette every 3 years. What you spend on
absolutely.
cigarettes,
Mhm.
realistically, right?
Oh
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
It's okay to have a beer with your family and friends though, once in a while, or a glass of wine in moderation.
Yes.
Well, Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hannah, do you have anything else you would like to ask Joe?
No, I think I'm all good. Lot of good answers, good conversation. I'm really happy we got to talk with you, Joe.
Likewise, I appreciate it, Hannah. It's like I said, great to see the young, smart people, engaging in our industry, and we need it. We're
Yeah.
actually a very aging industry. All of the manufacturing sectors, the dealership network, it's a challenge to get young people excited about
Yeah.
drywall and watching paint dry. It's
Right.
but let me ask you a question. How are you doing in our industry? Are you excited? Are you happy?
Yeah, I definitely am. My dad is a carpenter and he has his own carpentry business and he didn't go to college. And I have a one younger brother as well who's been working with my dad for basically his whole life, who has been trying to go to college for the past couple of years, but it's really taken him a long time. He's very smart, but he just
Mm,
doesn't have the attention span to sit down. So it's definitely, since working at Walls and Ceilings, it's renewed my passion for the industry like no other, because I see what my dad's doing, what he's struggling with trying to find workers, or how hard him and my brother are working, and they come home and then my dad will do the dishes or help clean the house or help cook dinner. It's a lot. So it's really interesting to be a young person and grow up with it, because I'm realizing now how important, like, we're literally, or you guys are literally putting the roofs over everybody's head in America. So this is
mm.
a very, very important profession. It's very heartbreaking that people of my generation don't understand that. They don't see it. Jill and I were talking the other day, there's just this negative connotation when it comes to contractors in the construction industry sometimes, when they're really some of the most brightest, most influential, smartest, innovative people that you'll meet sometimes. So it is it's very fun. I am very happy for my position at Walls and Ceilings. It's making me realize the things that are very, very important in life.
Well, I tell you what, that was great, because, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, if
Mhm.
you just slow down, and meet the contractors, meet the trim carpenters out there, meet the painting crew, the drywall finishing crew, the drywall hanging crew, the carpenters, the framing carpenters, the electricians. No, there is phenomenal amount of good people out there. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
truly think it's like 98% good people, good smart people in
Yeah.
the construction industry. There's always a few knuckleheads out there that
Mhm.
kind of ruin it for everyone else. But you know
Yeah.
how it is. The media blows. It's
Yes.
we don't
Yeah.
we don't want to talk about the good. We want to talk
Mhm.
about, yeah, this guy didn't show up and he put it up crooked and blah blah blah.
Exactly.
But maybe you hired the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have been a little smarter about. Maybe you shouldn't have been so cheap.
Mhm.
Oops, I said it.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe you shouldn't have been so cheap, and you should have hired a professional,
Yeah.
pay another 20% higher, and get a professional. And it happens in all industries, whether it's
Mhm.
drywall hanging, drywall finishing, painting, carpentry, concrete, whatever. There's always a low underbidder out there, but those are the ones actually that at times, not all of them, but there are times when it's the underbidder that kind of makes the industry look bad. And
Yeah.
not always. I'm sure there's some high end, contractors that have goofed up and made mistakes too. But it's I see what you're saying. It's unfair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get more, Hannah, let's get more young people interested,
I'm
because
trying.
Absolutely.
there are jobs out there, everyone. There are jobs. Manufacturing is not boring.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. Well,
Construction is not boring. There's more women in construction. In fact, even Trim-Tex. Let's talk about women a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to go on for
Sure.
4 We just added 2 new women's locker rooms, bathrooms in our production facilities.
Locker
So-
rooms. Are you saying that you didn't have locker rooms for the women before, only the guys?
We didn't have women in production.
Oh, well, I'm
Wow.
so happy that you added those in, Joe. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But you know what? We have a series. If you look at Trim-Tex, you go to our website, women in drywall.
Oh,
So
I love it. Oh, yes, we
actually
could absolutely do.
We've actually flown in, some talented ladies, influencers, and also just, highly talented from Canada and US, and we feature them monthly.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the story. I mean, we, up until like 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, our president, Brian Schwartz, and I, we were talking, and, we were both fathers of 3 daughters. Okay. And we're
Okay.
like all about girl power. And, we're like, man, we just got to get ladies. We got to get women out in the plant. How do we do that?
Mhm.
Do we create like part-time, 30-hour work weeks so they can still be a mom? So, we didn't know. We were asking a lot of questions, and we really didn't know the answers.
Mhm.
And I have a friend who's in manufacturing in a different industry, and he's got like 280 women working at his place.
Wow.
And that's exactly what they did, is they basically looked at it back in the day, and, as a second income, whether it's 20 hours a week or 30 hours a week or full-time, it could be primary income or secondary income.
Wow.
And so we took a look at it, and then we had a young lady that was working for our cleaning staff that wasn't even an employee of Trim-Tex. And we switched cleaning staffs, we switched services.
Wow.
And she was like really sad. She's like, I don't want to leave here. I've been here for 1.5 years. I love this place. And, I'm going to have to leave. We're like, no, you don't. How about, would you consider working in production?
Wow.
She rolled up her sleeves, and she is one of our leaders in production. I believe we have 7 or 8 women, 2 or 3 here on each shift. So we've got 2 production facilities and 3 shifts. So it's kind of like 6 different places you could work in production. So of course, on our staff, we've got 30, 40 women total, part of Trim-Tex. So but it was always just something that didn't happen, out in the production facility. And now we probably can say, yeah, we've done it. We put in an awesome locker room, bathrooms, another locker room, bathroom in the north production area, and we're looking to expand. How are we going to bring more people in? Well, that might be it. It might be secondary income program where somebody, whether it's a man or woman, they need 20, 25, 30, 32 hours a week of employment.
Yeah.
So
That's really smart.
at any shift, right?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you need it for your second shift the most.
Yeah, second shift is the toughest one. So that's where we actually have a mother-daughter team. We actually have 4 ladies on second shift in our main production area. So
Very cool.
it just makes me so proud to go out there. Yeah, it really does.
Aw. So Joe, tell us how long have you been reading Walls and Ceilings?
I remember it from the very early days. And that was when my dad said, hey, you got to take care of marketing now. He was doing ads for Walls and Ceilings and some of the other publications. And so really, yeah, 30-year history. I just want to say that it's always been such a pleasure working with the fine staff at Walls and Ceilings, just everybody out in the industry. You guys and gals, you're a lot of fun. You've always been involved with our charitable side at Trim-Tex when we do a Lemons of Love event for cancer charity, whether it was racing, the fun side of things. You guys were always there for us, and you've always been really good to us. You care about what we're up to with some great articles. And I just want to, the tip of the cap to Walls and Ceilings and the fine staff there. We really feel like you guys are friends, and we feel that you're good partners and you're good for our industry. You really spread the word, and you're getting the word out there. And huge thank you to
Joe.
You and your team.
Thank you so much. We always like to say we write happy stories about happy contractors, and you guys always have great happy stories to talk about that are inspiring and uplifting. So you make our job easy because you give us great things to write about.
That's true.
Well, thank you. It's very mutual, and thumbs up. I appreciate this, the time for you to interview me and do this podcast and blog. It was just a lot of fun, and let's do it again. I mean, we can come up with a few subjects.
A lot more to talk about.
Yeah, we only scratched the surface. Trust me.
Well, you got an incredible company, Joe. It's just been so fun knowing you over the years. And again, thank you so much for your time. If anybody has any questions, what's your website and how do they get a hold of you?
Well, we are www.trimtex.com. Our customer service team, there's a phone number there. You can give us a call. Customer service can answer any questions. They can get you connected to my email address if you'd like. Our technical team is available, like 20 hours a day. Our inside sales are available. Our customer service team, we work with contractors, anybody in the industry. Even if you just need something from a competitor, we'll point you in the right direction. We're here to help. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, if anybody has any questions for us, make sure you reach us. You can find us at wconline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our free e-magazine, our free e-newsletters. It's free to register for our website so you can see all the great content. And you can also listen to our podcast, which is what this will be produced as well, along with a video. But please, everybody stay safe and healthy. We can't wait to see you next time.
Hey!